Hey y'all. Hey everybody. How y'all doing? I'm waiting on this to load over here so I can see what you guys are doing. Hey, how's everyone's day? It's Friday, y'all. We made it through another week of the safer to stay at home, right? We're gonna thank good God for that. Thank goodness we made it. We all still here. Um, so so I wanted to talk about a couple of things. The other night, I've gotten some inboxes, some texts, and some other things about my post on a Wednesday. First of all, I wanted to um, say that this is my story that I'm telling. I have evidence for everything that I say. And when it is my opinion or how I felt, my perspective as a child or an adult, then it's just that my perspective. But you don't have to watch if you don't want to hear my story. I'm not telling my story for it's not for everybody. It's for those that it will help. So it's that simple. I'm not going to apologize and I'm not going to be sorry for saying names when I was the victim. Period, point blank. And yes, the things I say, I mean. I didn't exaggerate or underestimate or over or exaggerate what I've been through. I don't need to. Unfortunately, to exaggerate what I've actually been through would probably be a horror story more than it already is. So I don't have to do that. Now, I'm sorry if some of the names I say you don't like or agree or whatever. That's not my problem. This is my story. Period. The other thing is, yes, I know what I said. I'm aware of what I said. When I was a teenager, I was 13 years old, 14 years old. This man, and with my mother sitting there, told her husband, told me he would break me and he beat me with a paddle. He was also charged with two counts of sexual battery on me when I was 15 years old officially. Those are not lies, those are facts. So, anybody that wants to come in my inbox or has anything to say, I would appreciate it if you would keep that to yourself because I don't have to lie and it's public record. You're welcome to go look at it yourself. Do you understand? Okay, now on to the rest of the night, back to my story. So I was trying to decide which way I was going to go with my story when I was talking about when I was in foster care. Am I going to talk why I was in foster care? Am I going to talk about my life before my mother got married, and we lived in Orangewood? Am I going to talk about my life in my foster home, my life in foster care, or am I going to talk about my adult life? But I've kind of decided I'm kind of going to go backwards with this a little bit. So, actually, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm just making a decision on the fly. I'm actually going to discuss my foster home. I was in Debbie Jones' foster home. I aged out of foster care. And I went in the military. I left 4 days after graduation and joined the United States Navy when I was 18 years old. So, yeah. But my foster mom, she was amazing. I had an amazing foster family. Did we all get along? Absolutely not, y'all. We fist fought one another in my foster home. Like we were some angry people. And there was nothing my foster mom could do to stop it because we would do it when she wasn't there. And that's my family. you know. And but I had a good foster mom. She took us on vacations in the summer. We went in to stay with her sister in St. Augustine, and we'd spend a week down there. She would, she worked at the school, and so we didn't have a whole lot of money, but she took care of us. We ate good. We ate really good. She cooked all the time. Every night she cooked dinner, but it was 11 of us, so she had to cook. You hear me? Yeah, but it was a lot of us. And but she was good to us. She loved us. She didn't have to. There are some horror stories out there about foster care and foster parents. I was loved. And the Kaisers, Joe and Cassandra, they loved me. And they looked out for me too. When I was in foster care, they were foster parents as well. So, that's always he'll always be Daddy Joe. But they looked out for me and for my sister, and they took care of us. So, it wasn't the experience that some have in foster care. When we were initially removed out of the home, what happened was and this is all in the court documents, because I didn't really remember. But what happened was my sister sorry, y'all, I keep bumping this desk and this thing is moving. I'm kind of all over the place, But anyway, my sister, she told some of her friends. And you guys also share my live, please. But my sister, she told some friends of hers. My sister is now deceased. But she told some friends of hers, and they told the office. And then the office called me out of class. I thought I was in trouble for fighting or some crazy crap again. But I got called to Mr. Reddish's office. I'll never forget it. And Janice Joyner was there. And, she asked me some questions. I wasn't exactly sure how to answer them because of the things that I had been threatened with. I was really scared. And anyway, I told the truth. And we left the high school in Mr. Reddish's office. She took us, my sister and I, to her office at the, the HRS office over there behind where the probation office. Y'all know where we was at. Everybody in Start know where it's at. Those that don't, it's all right. You wouldn't know if I tell you. Anyway, she took us to her office, and she said she was going to call my mother. I told her she could call her, but it wasn't going to do any good because my mother wasn't going to leave him. And that was when I explained to her about the previous incident, the year before, when my mother hadn't been told what he was doing to me, and I was punished. And she stayed with him anyway, and it continued for another year before this occurred. So I told Janice Joyner that my mother was not going to side with us and that she was going to choose him. And I'll never forget, Janice Joyner looked me right in my face, y'all, and she told me, she said, April, your mother would never do that. I've known her whole life. She would not do that. Well, she got there, my mother, and the stipulation was she didn't have anything else to do with Freddie or have us around him until they figured out what they was going to do, because we were being taken out of the home. And my mother left. She left Janice Joyner's office and left me and my sister at the office. Period, point blank. Janice then tried to find somewhere. We did not want to be separated. I had taken care of my little sister since we were little, and she had cerebral palsy, and there were just other things with my sister. And so I was very protective of her. And Debbie, she fixed it. Her and Janice fixed it so she could keep both of us so that my sister and I did not get separated. And you know what? I'm grateful for that because my sister went through a lot of things, but I'm grateful we were together and I was still able to watch out for her. I've always been a look after kind of personality. I always take care of people. That's why I keep my circle so strong because so small because and strong because I I want to take care of those around me. I don't want anyone around me and that I love to ever have feelings that I have ever felt in my life. So I strive for that in my relationships. So I have to be very careful who I connect with because I also have a temper. So if they get on the wrong side of me, things just may go left, and then that's not good for me, them, or anybody. So I just try to keep it small. But anyway, she made sure they made sure that me and my sister got to stay together. Well, as things, so at this point, we went into what's called emergency shelter or foster, whatever it is, emergency shelter. So we were not even in foster care at this point. We was just in limbo, pretty much. We were in Debbie's home, but we were emergency. We were placed there in an emergency status, not as a permanent status. So as things went on, my mother did not believe us. I don't know why she didn't. I mean, there were things that went on in the home that as a mother, I would have left. Okay, I would have left. I would have never moved into a trailer where my two daughters were sharing a room with three boys, two of which they didn't even know. Let's just say that, and let's be real honest. I would not even have moved into those conditions. At that point, we were no longer important as children. I don't care what nobody says, how you look at it, point blank. She did not have to move out of Orangewood. She chose to. She chose to put us, her children, in that situation. So anything that Freddie did from that point on, she guilty. Because to start with, it was not a good situation. I don't care what nobody says, that's it, point blank, period, is how I feel. I've talked to her about it. None of this will surprise her. My mother is aware of how I have felt. I would not dare get on here and discuss feelings or thoughts I had without him talking to her first. Because I owe her that respect. I don't care. I don't care what she's earned. I owed her that because she was my mother. She is my mother. Period. We don't have to agree, but that's who she is. Period. So, anyway, we never went back to her. You know, she actually in the beginning had visitation. It was a supervised visitation. So she came to like the HRS office and visited us with us in a room, right? So, but one of those visits, she sent me a letter to me and Leslie, and she put it in one of the magazines she brought. So in this letter, which I have a copy of because it's in the court case file, she blamed me for what was going on. She begged me to tell the truth and stop lying. It was a 5-6 page letter, and that was what the letter was about. So y'all know me being me, right? I gave the letter to my foster mom. And of course, she didn't have an option then but to give it to HRS, to the powers that be. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just that's how things roll. Look, I don't care what you are or what you're doing. The truth is there are rules and regulations to anything. If you choose to break those rules, you deal with the consequences of your choices. You're an adult. If you're not, if you can't process that legitimately, then you are not mature enough to make any other decisions. Period. You have choices to make, and there are consequences for every choice. So, anyway, we went back and forth. I had to do all kind of depositions, talk to all types of different people. I also had to take lie detector tests, right? Um, so all of these tests were performed. Some of them were even performed by the FDLE and other people, right? So at the time, Margaret M. Stack was the assistant state attorney here in Bradford County. She later became the state attorney in Alachua County, but she was the ADA here when that was going on, when my case was going on. And there was so much. Oh my gosh, it went on and on and on. And I never understood that, which I figured out when I ordered the 321 page court ordered the case. What took so long is they kept sending stuff, trying to get stuff against him, and his attorney was fighting it. You know what I'm saying? So they were just doing court stuff, right? So in there, are all the testimonies, everything that was said in the courtroom, everything's in there. So anyway, I remember our last day in court. Now, by this time, my mother didn't have any more rights. They had taken away her rights as a mother. But I don't even understand how all that worked. I have to order that case as well next, but I'm still trying to process this 321 page case. So I'll order the other later. And I'll get into more detail about that once I get it. But we had a court case, and in there, it was when her husband pled guilty, right? This was when he copped a plea, right? So this is when he pled out with them and took the 11 lewd and lascivious charges, which you can find on the National Sex Offender Registry. But this is also the day that my mother walked out of the courtroom with him, and I ran past my Mima and out of the courtroom with him to her. And I asked her, he got on the elevator, and I asked her why. And she looked at me and she said, "One day you'll understand." And she turned around and she walked onto the elevator, the second floor to Bradford County Courthouse. And I never saw her again until I went to go in the Navy. Facts. I understand less now than I did then as a mother, and that's just the truth. That's nothing she doesn't know. We've discussed it. Y'all, I honestly, it's kind of crazy to me how someone makes decisions they make. But you know what? That happens. There are always people and decisions that people may make that you don't like or you don't understand. And maybe it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me. And she has to live with the choices that she made. I don't. And it is what it is. And believe me, she reaped what she sown. And that's how the world works. You reap what you sow. I don't care what nobody says. That's period, point blank how it works. Karma, reap what you sow, whatever label you want to give it. It's the same thing for all of us. So anyway, that day I went into permanent foster care. I don't know if it was that day or not. So somewhere around that period it happened. Anyway, the court documents are funny. Some parts of them, you guys, in the 321 pages case that I've been reading. In part of it, y'all, there's a charge. There's a thing in there with my Mima. Anybody know my Mima? Where my Mima told them that she was going to have somebody beat his ass. And, Yeah, it's in the court documents where my Mima said that. And any of y'all that know my Mima know that she did not second guess about me, period. And I didn't her either. But yeah, those were, there's different things like that. There are people that testified in that court case on my mother's character behalf. Now, mind you, this is the same woman that walked out of the courtroom with a man that just pled guilty to 11 lewd and lascivious charges, that originally had 2 sexual battery charges and 9 lewd and lascivious charges. Now, she walked out of that courtroom with him. I'm just saying. But there were people that testified on her behalf during this trial of what a bad kid, essentially, that I was. That I was mean and disrespectful, and I lied. Wait, and let me tell y'all something. I don't remember lying as a kid. I don't lie now. If I'm wrong, I'm just wrong, but I'm gonna say what I want to say. So, but there were people that testified who had not seen me since Gloria left Orangewood. Do y'all understand me? Gloria, I was 13. I was almost 17 when this case finished. 4 years they hadn't seen me, but they testified about what type of kid I was. Are you kidding me? Maybe I was a mean kid because I was cleaning up vomit when my mom had been out drinking or doing whatever she was doing all night long. At Bobby's or 301 or Palaca, wherever she was, because she went out all the time. She was in the club for ladies' night, weekends, male reviews, bands playing. She was everywhere on every scene. I was home babysitting. And the people that testified that I was such a liar were aware that she was out in the street like that because they was out there with her. But they testified what a bad kid I was. So, one, they were that loyal to her, which is idiocy, right? Because how the hell you that loyal to any woman that her kids aren't first? I saw my mother naked in the bed with a man as a child. I had a man pay me and my brother and sister to go to bed as a child so he could screw my mom. And this was all before Freddie. This was Orangewood. So I'm just saying, don't act like oh no. But these people testified to that. Now you think I want anything to do with them now? I don't care how many years has passed. This is court documented testimony. And you out there testifying on her behalf. Nobody protected me. Nobody protected me. That's crazy. Do you know my mother, the day I saw her in the bed with a man in Orangewood, I was probably about 9 years old. She was at somebody else's house in their apartment, in their bed, naked with a man. I walked in, I saw her, I called her a whore, told her she was going to get AIDS, ran back down to 603 to our apartment. She proceeded to come down there and she caught me in the bathroom. And y'all, she beat me with a switch. I was bleeding. So I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? But this is why I was mean. This stuff ain't just what I went through with Freddie. I went through my entire with her husband. I went through my entire life. y'all my story. I saw my mother follow my father with a knife, a butcher knife on the seat. It's the truth. Nah, my mother says she wasn't on drugs. I don't think she was an alcoholic. I don't remember seeing her drink at home. But y'all, she was not a good mother. And she didn't even do the best she could do. She failed as a mother. I am who I am because of prayer. I am who I am because of my Mima and Debbie Jones and Gert. But y'all, I went through hell as a child. But I tell you, there are people. I grew up in the same area my entire life. From kindergarten to 12th grade, I was in the same school district. And nobody ever tried to help us. You know, they took me and my sister out of the home when they found my mother unfit, but they left my little brother there. Why didn't they take him out? You know what I'm saying? There's something serious. And let me tell you something. My father, he wouldn't stop smoking weed long enough to get us in his home. That's why I aged out of foster care. He wouldn't let me come live in his house either. Because he didn't want to follow the rules. Facts of the situation. I was in foster care because both of my parents chose their selves over me. That's it in a nutshell. I'm not finna sugarcoat it. That's the facts. And let me tell you something. It does something to you when the two people that God used to create you throw you away. You know, a friend of mine, Kara, posted on here, those of y'all that were live on Wednesday, she was talking about, I don't know if anyone's commenting. Can someone say hey so I can see if I can see anything? I don't want to be missing anything. Y'all know I don't really know what's going on here. But she was talking about when we went to church camp, Life Week in '93. Had just went into foster care in May of that year. That was in, I think, June or July. I want to say it was July after the 4th of July, but I could be wrong. But we were in foster care. I was in foster care, and not one person at that church camp even asked a question about it. Now, maybe they didn't know what to say or how to say things. And then again, hey, Misha, and thank you. And then again, look, see, that's what I'm talking about. This is perspective. But then I think about it, right? Now, this is how I felt. At the time, I felt like nobody cared. Do you understand? I felt like nobody cared, even the church folks. But let me tell you something. The people that were around me didn't even really know it was bothering me. Because I was talking to Janice Joyner a week or so ago, and she and I were talking about it because I made sure she knew I would be doing this and mentioning her name. Because she saved my life. She believed me. When my mother said I was lying, and his pastors said I was lying, his church people stood up for him. Janice Joyner says she is not lying on this man. She stood up for me. She fought for me. She saved me. But anyway, when I was talking to her the other day, she said, you know what I remember most about you, April? And I said, no, ma'am. I didn't. Hey, Sarah, I really ain't know where it was going to go because anybody that knew me then, let me tell y'all something. I was in foster care, had a job, and was dating a married man. all at the same time. So I I had a good strong cover up. Do you understand? Period. And know that married man was not from Bradford County. Are you kidding me? I didn't mess around here. There ain't enough money. I told y'all I didn't think my body was good for anything except for what I wanted to get. And money makes the world go round. I don't care what nobody's saying. It take money to make money. And I believe that. And that's how I live my life. Thank goodness for change and maturity and growth, but that's how I lived. Whatever that looked like. But we're going to get into all of that. But what I'm saying is when I told her, she said the thing she remembered most about me was that I always had a laugh, a positive outlook. I always made fun about what I was going through. Y'all, I've always been that way. Child, let me tell you something. When I went to go through menopause, child, I was cutting up the ICU when I had my heart attack. This is what I do. I just make funny and stuff, and I'm loud, but that is me. I do that because I don't want nobody in. It ain't nothing. My life, my business ain't none of your business. Everybody business ain't nobody business. Y'all take and do what you want, but that's some wisdom right there. Everybody business ain't nobody business. But yeah, but you know what she said, I think back to that, and you know what, God gave me that disposition when he created me to get me through what he knew I was going to face because he did create me. You know what I'm saying? I don't doubt for 1 second that my creator knew that as a child, my mother was going to have me crazy because I would be angry and think I could cut people. I wanted to cut somebody up and mail them around the world at 5 years old, y'all. Come on now, ain't no child in the world born thinking like that. But do you know, even when I saw the psychotherapist at Sunnyland in Gainesville and this transpired, they still didn't investigate Gloria. But y'all up here wanting to fuss at people for disciplining their children because their children need. Are y'all kidding me? So see, I see two sides of children and families. Because Janice Joyner saved my life. But I don't know who was working before her. They didn't protect us. Period. You know, it just was what it was. I remember spending food stamp papers at Pinehurst to get change back to buy stuff for the house. Or to get quarters. You know, used to do that to get quarters back to do laundry. You know, and then or then, you know, you around there, child, potted meat. Be happy to have potted meat. But it was what it was. But and I tell some of this story. I would like for some of you parents to hear my story, to talk to your kids. Talk to your children, especially if they're old enough to understand. Talk to them, because how many of you were snarky, picked at me, called me names or whatever in school? You know, I was fro vamp or whatever, vampire T or whatever y'all wanted to call me, but wasn't nobody pushing up because, baby, I pushed back. You understand? But the thing is you didn't know what I was going through. I was even treated that way at church, guys. People at church would not talk to me. They were better than me. They were above me. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in financially. I didn't fit in ethically. I just didn't look. My looks didn't fit in. My grades didn't fit in because look here, I ain't give two shits about a grade. I did my very best, but let me tell you something. I did not do homework. I go in there and take a test and ace it all day, but I'm not doing homework. I had a job. I worked at Captain D's in high school. I started there when I was 16, and I worked till I graduated, till I left for boot camp in June of '95. And boy, I had some good times up there. But I worked. I went to school. I was in foster care and going through all of these depositions and stuff for 2 years. Y'all, this case went on for 2 years. Plus, I was dealing with different grown men. Some of them was my age, they're a little older, but you know they weren't around here. They wasn't local. I did what I had to do. I smoked weed, showed it, drank. Child, we used to drink night train in the back of Coach McGriff class in biology. I ain't gonna say who was with me, but I did say we. You know what I'm saying. He didn't know. Lord had us in there cutting open frogs. Child, I'll never forget my partner for our frog dissection. But baby, both of us were sitting there trying to figure out whether me or him one were gonna cut that frog, because ain't now one of us wanted to do it. We both were gonna take the 0. But yeah, so I was going through so much. So, you know, talk to your kids. Teach them not to judge stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember back then we had champion stuff, but it wasn't popular. Y'all know, hey, my age group remember when champion wasn't popular? Child, y'all remember that? I remember when I got my first pair of LA gear. Boy, I was excited. You know. And my mother was a single mother, and she had 3 kids, but she still did not do her best. Do y'all understand me? I will always be an advocate. I will always be an advocate for good parenting. Parenting. Y'all, I can't even talk. What the world? But I'm telling you, you got to find no. There has to be a balance. Your life can't be all about your kids, but it can't be all about you either. You understand? I'm a mother, so I can look at differently how she did things. I disagree. Anyway, I aged out of foster care. I went in the United States Navy. Like I said, my foster mom and I still have a relationship to this day. I love her. She knows Summer and Jonathan. They know my whole story. They know more. They know everything I'm saying here. So, you know, it is what it is. But it's okay. Look, I'm telling my story to help people. But as y'all can see, and anybody that knows me, everything I have faced may have appeared or could have broke me. But I was created to overcome. Period. I was born to show people that you can overcome. No matter who, what, when, where, or why. And you may not ever know or understand the why. Let me be honest with you. There is absolutely nothing my mother could say that will help me understand what I went through as a kid. Nothing. I love her. I don't love her like a mother because she is not my mother in the definition of what I think a mother's actions should be. But she is my mother because she carried me. So, you know, it is what it is. I can't change those logistics, right? But I respect her. Now, I will tell her what I need to tell her, but I respect her. Because a dog is due respect. And I feel that. You know, I stay away from people that I can't respect. because I don't mind telling them that I don't respect them. So that's just it. But I deal with my own stuff and set my own stuff in my own position. And that's the thing. Through these stories and what I'm going to tell, what I also need for y'all to do is do some self checks. Like through this story, a lot of my story, as I continue to tell it, you'll see, especially in adulthood. But I have to give you the backstory. But in adulthood, I had to begin to make some changes and think differently in order to be where I am now. Period. But I had a rough childhood, y'all. And then on top of that, I continued to take myself through hell for years because I didn't think I was worth anything. I spent a large part of my life thinking all I was good for is grinding, hustling, fighting. I used to look for relationships with men I had to fight with, y'all. That's just the truth. I didn't like men that are you kidding me? If we couldn't fight, I didn't want to be with you. I used to try to make them hit me. And there are some that would not and never have. And I used to look for the ones that would so I could drag date. Y'all, I beat somebody out. I beat a grown man out his clothes in the back of the slough. Do you understand me? I don't care. That's what happened. Because he wasn't where he said he would be. And he didn't do what he said he would do. So when I got there and he showed his tail, I drug him. Do you understand? Yeah, he fought back. But you won't have to fight me because I'm going to try to kill you. But I used to look for those type of relationships. That's how much I hated myself. But I never put my children in that way. Ever. Ain't never nothing I've ever been in or went down that I was involved in. My kids were involved at all. My job as their mother is to protect them. And I will do that with everything in me. I used to tell people, my saying was I would rather my kids visit me in a jail cell than visit a graveside. That's how I lived, y'all. But I didn't see the value in myself. And so as I tell my story, I want those of you that feel that way, I want you to talk to me. I want you to talk to somebody because you don't have to feel that way. And I don't care what kind of hell you have faced and overcome. Because look, if you're still here, you've overcome it, or you're either in it and you're standing in it still. Reach out. Talk to somebody. There are people out there that will help you. If you told somebody and they didn't believe you, and you had to go back into the same situation, hey, that's part of my story. I told my mother, she believed him over me. I then was sexually assaulted for another year before I was finally took out of the home and placed in emergency foster care, and then in emergency foster care, and then I aged out of foster care. But that's how that happened. And y'all, she stood by him after he failed the lie detector test 3 times. It's in the court document. So I know she knew. Where the state attorney, the assistant state attorney is Margaret Stack, when she sent the stuff to Dudley Hardy saying he failed. And the victim passed all 3. He failed all 3. And yet, he got 2 years probation. And he's on the National Sex Offender Registry. But he's not a predator? Are you kidding me? He told me himself he had done this to his previous stepdaughters. So I wasn't the first one. If that ain't a predator, I don't know what is. And I don't care if he was charged or not. God knows. And he should have a fucking, sorry. Y'all, I'm going to work on cussing. Y'all know I sometimes get a little extra and I cuss. But I'm working on it, y'all. Everybody know me, know I done did real good. This far, I only said that one word. But sorry. But he knows it. He told me himself what he did to them and the relationship he had with them. I don't need nobody else to tell me. He's a predator. I don't care. And since I've been home, I went to the sheriff's office and asked them to make sure they know where he at, because I need to know. I'm the victim. I'm back in the area, and I'm not going to feel threatened. Are you kidding me? But this man has no people. He did what he did to me and did 2 years probation, y'all. And I know it's in the court documents where they said they taped him up and wired him up and stuff. All of that's in there. I've seen it. So whatever. That's why he ain't got a red sign in his yard. Anybody that has sexually assaulted a child should have a sign in the yard. I don't care if it's the first time or the last time. There should be a sign in the yard. I don't care if they just proposition them. There should be a sign in their yard. Now, y'all want to hurry up and charge these children that turn 18 or 19, but they've been in a relationship with a 16, 17-year-old. Look, and I'm going to tell you, I've experienced that too. Our oldest daughter got pregnant by someone who was 21 when she was 15. Look, we didn't know she didn't live with us, but where she lived, her mother was aware of that relationship. But once she got pregnant, she had that young man locked up. I don't care if he was 34. None of the men I messed with in high school should have been locked up. I pursued one of them myself. But she was choosing that. Yes, she wasn't making good choices, but she made her choices. But he didn't need to go to, but didn't deserve to go to prison for that. The mother should have cut that off to begin with. See, I wish somebody would come around here when mine was little. You understand me? I don't care if Summer 15 and you 17, boo, you too old. What your interest is? I want to know. But see, I'm that parent. I'm very up in your face. My children, your children, they children that come over here, it doesn't matter to me. Because I honestly believe that talking, communicating, and honesty are the most important things we can do for our children. And look, I know I said talking and communicating because sometimes we have to read their body language. Sometimes we have to reach our children where they are. But I'm going to get off of here, y'all, because I'm tired. My brain is tired. You know, as I tell my story, there's parts of it that are a little more draining. I don't know that that's the right word, but y'all know, and not only that, I've been down the last couple of days. My RA is giving me a fit. I'm just kind of achy and tired. My God, I've been tired. I slept all day yesterday, literally got up, showered, and got back in bed. But, yeah, so I will be back on Monday at 9 o'clock. I just want to talk about my shirt real quick. Oh, shoot, y'all know I'm backwards. Gratitude America. I want to tell any combat vets, go look them up, Gratitude America. Look for a weekend near you. Julian and I did a weekend. You know, we're both veterans, but he's a combat vet. Anyway, and you go, and it's like 2 full days, and then you get there one day and leave the next day, so it's like 4 days, but it's 2 full days. But they do classes, they feed, everything's included, your hotel, all of that's included, and you do some little team building exercises. They divide you up into groups where the combat vet and the whoever they brought with them, because like sometimes they bring their mother. It's whoever your support person is. And, but it is absolutely amazing. It's called Gratitude America. I'm just saying, Gratitude America. And, it's a really good program, you guys. I really think it's great. It was very helpful. We really enjoyed it. Both of us did. And, but that's what the shirt is I have on tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna keep telling my story. We're gonna talk some more about my childhood on Monday. There's a lot still to tell, but I really kind of am trying not to move through fast, but I kind of feel like as I tell my story, there are things that I go back to that help explain currently. So what happened in that time, that situation, whatever it may have been. So yeah, oh, excuse me. I will be on again, guys. Listen, 9 o'clock Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I would like for you to go and follow and like me on Real Life Talk with April on Facebook, please. Also, view my video. Just click on it and click off of it if you want to. But view my video, view it, share it. Please, please, please. Then go to my YouTube, which is also Real Life Talk with April, and subscribe to that, please. And click the video, even if you just click it and watch it for 3, 5, 10 seconds, even if you've already seen it on YouTube, Facebook, click and like it. That way I can get the credit for that too. Look, ain't no secret. I'm trying to do this because I like to talk. I want to help people and I want to get a check. Check, 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 check. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but I appreciate those of you that have been in here with me tonight. The numbers have been going up, oh Lord, up and down. And so, I don't know what I'm doing. But I just want y'all to know that I really appreciate you guys. I'm really enjoying this too. This is very therapeutic for me. I know it's kind of sporadic and all over the place, but one thing about trauma and traumatic experiences, you can remember the detail, but not always in order. So sometimes I'm a little all over the place, but I promise it all come together. But because it's my life, so it all has come together, right? So but that is all. If y'all have any questions, any thing you would like for me to talk about, maybe you want me to talk about something specific I went through growing up, or maybe there's some questions, I'm here. I'm available. So and I don't mind discussing those things, talking about those things on here. Like I said, I've gotten some inboxes and things, some private messages about different things that I addressed in the beginning, but maybe some things I'll address later, but I'm not really sure how that's going to work out. But thank you guys. And hey, have a safe weekend. If you live somewhere and they're telling you to go out, I got 7 minutes left. I'm telling y'all now, wait. Let the test dummies go out first. Then, because let me tell y'all something. Everything they're collecting right now about COVID-19 is to get data. They don't know nothing. All they know is how the data's coming in. That's why it keeps changing. Look, that's just the truth of the situation, y'all. They're giving us what they got. That's it. I don't understand. They actually, I know they're giving these events every day, but Trump and DeSantis could really talk to us like every 2-3 days. I don't know why they're going on every day. It ain't changing that fast. Data takes time. Data takes time, and it takes data to get through stuff through the FDA. So, y'all, all we can do is sit back, be smart, not book smart, common sense smart, y'all. Come on. What's wrong with using hand sanitizer? Stop buying up. Y'all ain't got out of sanitizer yet. You still can't find sanitizer or toilet paper in the daggum store. Come on, y'all been buying up the toilet paper since March. It's almost May. Y'all ain't got the toilet paper yet. Still got signs limiting the purchase and how many you can get. Come on now, y'all ought to be shame yourself. Then hurricane season coming for us on the East Coast and in Florida. Y'all better buy some batteries. But listen, COVID-19, they got to get data. Without data, they can't give us very many answers. Facts with a capital S. That's all there is to it. So listen, if you got masks, wear them. It's kind of like the flu vaccine, right? If enough people have on a mask, then enough people ain't going to spread it, whether they got it or not. Because listen, if you breathe out of a mask and can't transmit it, right? How you going to breathe it in and get it? I'm just saying, if you can't breathe it out and transmit it if your mask is on, right? And we're talking a surgical or N95. Anything less than that, y'all, I'm sorry, but it ain't keeping nothing out. Let me be real honest with you. Anyway, if you're wearing it, you can't nothing get in or out. You understand? That's how it works. So if you got your mask on, you good. But you don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to wear gloves. You could be like me. I just don't touch nothing. During flu season, from November, once the flu gets high in my area, listen, I got 3 more minutes. Once the flu, and if I don't finish, I'll talk about on Monday. Once the flu gets high in my area, I go on lockdown. I take a medication every week that is used to treat leukemia, of course, in a higher dose, but I take a high dose. It just ain't that high. Then I take another medication, a biologic, that I take every other week. That's an injection. So my immune system, even if I didn't have an autoimmune disease, I hadn't had a heart attack, I wasn't a type 2 diabetic, even if all of those things weren't in place, and we'll talk about the type 2 diabetes, it wasn't because I was obese. I got sick and something happened to my pancreas and it hasn't went back to normal. So I'm a type 2 diabetic. But anyway, we'll discuss all of that when we get into my medical history. But I do not have an immune system. My immune system is negative. Not only that, I cuss too much to be a pastor. But I'm working on it, Roz. I don't want to be a pastor anyway, but I am working on it. But I'm going to pass the plate afterwards. But I don't touch nothing. When we go in the store, I don't go to the store by myself. Someone always goes with me, and I do not touch nothing. From the buggy to the bags in the car, putting the bags in the car, I touch nothing. As soon as I get to the car, I use hand sanitizer before I close the door. Don't close the door and then use hand sanitizer. Y'all, what you done did at that point is you done dirtied the door. So when you open that door to get out, guess what's there? The Rona. COVID-19 sitting right there waiting on you. That stuff can last on cars, on surfaces for hours, y'all. Come on now. Be smart. Y'all done bought up all the hand sanitizer. Use it. But y'all know it's a time for me to go. I appreciate y'all joining in, but I might do a little how to use common sense during COVID-19. I might do a spiel on Monday about 9 o'clock, y'all. Because this stuff, some of the stuff I have seen when I've been out, that's all I'm going to tell you. But I might talk about it on Monday, 9 o'clock. Y'all join me. All right. Have a good weekend. Bye.